In the old days, my grandmother cooked rice in a heavy pot on a kerosene stove. Before that, she cooked rice over an open fire on an outdoor stove fashioned out of a big metal drum cut in half. The bottom of the pot would often become coated with a layer of burnt, or what we call koge rice. Rather than mix the burnt bits in with the rest of the white rice, my grandmother would first stir or properly turn the rice so it would steam and then serve it to her family without disturbing the dark crust. Nothing was wasted, so after everyone had eaten, my grandmother, like many women of her time, would scrape up the burnt portion, season it with a little salt, and eat it. Or else she would pour hot tea in the pot to loosen the hardened layer and eat the resulting rice gruel with tsukemono, which are pickled vegetables. You don't see burnt rice anymore. Starting with the introduction of the first automatic rice cookers in the late 1950s, and fast forwarding to the amazing do-everything fuzzy logic machines of today, burnt rice has skillfully and systematically been microprocessed into oblivion. This must have been very important considering how Japan unleashed its formidable post-war technological tsunami in the quest to create perfect unburnt rice. Why then do I find myself haunted by the flavor, aroma, and texture of the burnt rice? Could there possibly be something of value, kernels of wisdom perhaps, in those darkened grains? They remind me of my grandmother's humility, the willingness to give what was best to others and keep what was left for herself. She did so every day of her life, not just with rice, but in everything she did. She was the embodiment of humility in her simple gray dress, her hair pulled back in a bun. I know she would have wanted her children's, grandchildren's, and great-grandchildren's lives to be better than hers. And for the most part, that's so. We have raised our standard of living. We are free to pursue our dreams. We wear what we want to wear, say what we want to say, and eat what we want to eat, while freely disposing of the burnt and imperfect parts of our lives. But I remember too that my grandmother not only ate the burnt rice, she made it look delicious. Today I know that it was. We can go to a fancy Japanese izakaya restaurant and pay a nice sum for yaki onigiri. Those fancy rice balls that have been salted, brushed with a light shoyu or miso glaze, and lightly charred with hibachi. They are delicious eaten with tsukemono, just like my grandmother. Sometimes I think my grandmother was so far ahead of us that we are only now appreciating what she always knew. Many of our great chefs around the world recognize umami, the so-called fifth taste sensation that they define as a savoriness or delicious flavor, exemplified by dashi, or a flavorful soup stock that was drawn from seaweed and certain meats. Today I realize that my grandmother demonstrated a masterful grip of umami in her incomparable oden and nishime. There was great sophistication and complexity in such outwardly simple dishes, just as there was great strength and infinite dignity in her humble life. It is often said that we are what we eat. In compiling this book, I have come to appreciate how important it is to also know why we eat what we eat. For food represents an important link, both physical and spiritual, to our past and to the values that define